Today we're going to learn how to use fractions as a way to divide. This is sometimes known as finding a fraction of an amount. Remember that you're going to need to pause this video at certain points so that you can answer the questions on the slides. By now, you probably all know what a fraction is, but we're going to have another recap just in case you've forgotten. A fraction represents part of a whole. This question on the screen is asking us to find a fraction of an amount. It's asking us, what is half of 10? What number sentence could I write to get that answer? Now you're probably all shouting at the screen, half of 10 is 5. I know that, it's easy. But what we have done there is we have divided 10 by 2. You'll notice that the 2 comes from the denominator in the fraction. So, when we are finding a fraction of an amount, or using fractions to divide, we're always going to use the denominator as the divisor. You'll see in future slides how this works. The question on this slide shows that a cook has 48 kilograms of potatoes. He uses 5/8 of the potatoes. How many kilograms of the potatoes has he used? Now we're going to use a bar model to help us find the answer to this question. When we're answering these type of questions, the first thing we need to do is work out what the value of the whole is. In this question is 48 because the cook has 48 kilograms of potatoes in total. The next thing we need to do is work out what that whole, that total, is being split into. How many equal parts are represented? In this case, 8 equal parts are represented because we are looking for eighths. Next, we need to think about how many equal parts the question is asking us to find. In this case, it is 5 because we want to know what 5/8 of 48 kilograms is. The final thing that we need to do is work out the value of each equal part. Now, you'll notice that our bar chart has been split into 8 parts. Therefore, we are going to do 48 divided by 8. Do you remember I said we always use the denominator as the divisor when we're finding fractions of amounts? Therefore, 48 divided by 8 equals 6. We now know that 1/8 equals 6 kilograms. But we're trying to find 5/8. So we're going to multiply 6 by 5. This equals 30. Our cook has used 30 kilograms of potatoes in total. Let's quickly look at another question. We have a football team who has 300 tickets to give away. They've decided to give 3/4 of them to a local school. We're trying to work out how many tickets are left over once they have given 3/4 away. So, just like before, we need to work out what the value of the whole is. In this case, it's 300 tickets. These 300 tickets are being split into 4 equal parts. We want to find one of those equal parts in this question. Now, the reason we only want to find one equal part rather than 3 is that they've already given 3/4 away. Therefore, they're only left with 1/4. To find 1/4 of 300 tickets, all we need to do is divide 300 by 4. This equals 75. Therefore, this football team has been left with 75 tickets. You're going to have a go at these questions by yourself now. Do you remember early on I said when we're finding a fraction of an amount, you use the denominator as the divisor? So, for example, in the first question, we want to find 1/5 of 30. Therefore, to answer this question, you are going to divide 30 by 5. You'll notice on the screen, though, that there are some fractions where the numerator isn't 1. What do you think we need to do for these questions? Let's have a look at 2/5 of 30 as an example. Now, you're still going to use the denominator as the divisor, so you'll do 30 divided by 5. We know that this is 6. However, we want to find 2/5 of 30. Therefore, you're going to multiply 6 by 2. This equals 12. So this would be your answer. You're going to need to pause the video now so that you can have a go at answering all of these questions yourself. Remember to take a picture of these though and send them to your teacher. Press pause now. We're on our final question, and this is a think question. Now remember, as I've said before, because it's a think question, you need to answer the question, then prove it using your maths, and then finally explain the question in detail. This question shows us that 2 fashion designers received 3/8 of 208 metres of material. One of them says, we each received 26 metres. You need to prove whether she is correct or not, and then explain your reasoning. You're going to answer this question yourself in a moment, but what would we need to do first? In this case, 208 is our whole, and we're wanting to find eighths of this. So what are we going to divide 208 by? Once you've done 208 divided by 8, you're going to need to multiply this by what? 3. Yes, because we're trying to find 3/8. See if your answer matches up with the fashion designer who says that both of them received 26 metres. If it does, she's correct. If it doesn't, she's wrong. Now I've asked you to divide quite a lot during this lesson. What methods could you use to divide? Think back to last term when we used short division and long division. You're probably going to need to use both of these methods today to answer some of the questions. Pause the video here to answer this think question. Once you've done that, you can check your answer on the slides that have been attached to Microsoft Teams, and then you can get on with your do, think and explore questions. You've come to the end of this lesson. Good luck!